Like, wasn't Ptolemy trying the Ptolemies? They were trying to like basically be like these god emperor figures of Egypt. They didn't seem too worried about Hebrew stuff. So why are they putting together the first Bible? It's just weird. It seems like political stuff to me. And it's like, who could do that? Who could speak Hebrew and Greek? I guess the sellouts that infiltrated, but I don't know. You have to call their motivations into question. How's it going, Frank?
Yeah, blessings, gentlemen. Shabbat shalom. Here to represent the J Dogs.
Oh, uh-oh. Are you worshiping Saturn today?
Yeah, no, it's Sunday here for me, so I'm worshiping the sun.
Okay, got it. I heard you say Shabbat, so I was like, oh, Shabtai, Saturn.
Yeah, I'm just being playful. I guess I'm an ethnic Jew, 1/3, supposedly from the tribe of Levite, and I do ascribe somewhat to study of Judaism, but I guess just through like the Kabbalah of wizardry and magic. And so I'm not educated enough to like understand all of the Jewish hate, but I'm interested in finding out more so that maybe I can somehow defend the position of the J Dogs a little bit, but it's going to take me a few years to get to the level where you guys are at. So
yeah,
I'm mostly just here to listen.
Series, right? He's doing a wonderful series on Martin Buber, I-thou relationship. So I popped in a couple of times on that. So yeah, I read 2 books by Martin Buber. So yeah, blessings, Frank. But yeah.
Oh wow, good magic. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm trying to find out a little bit more about Hasidism and like Hasidic Jews. And you had mentioned earlier in the show just now that it doesn't seem to have an ancient connection.
The Baal Shem Tov. Yeah, the Baal Shem Tov is what I was referring to. So the founder of Hasidic Judaism, right? Baal Shem Tov means the amulet maker, right? So yeah.
Okay, yeah, some more lines of research for me, definitely. He mentions Theodore Herzl and Chaim Weizmann.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with those guys. Actually, I think Chaim Weizmann was the president of the World Zionist Congress, right? And also Theodore Herzl. He was one of the founding members. I think actually. I spoke about Herzl many times on this show. But yeah, who's talking about him? Buber's talking about Herzl?
Yeah. He mentions that's the reference for the revival of the mystical movement of Hasidism in Eastern European Jewry. He says in the 18th and 19th centuries. Yeah, so it seems to be a modern interpolation of the thing, I guess. And I'm curious as to where the roots come from. So I'm trying to do some research in that direction.
This right here is a good book to get right here. The B'nai B'rith series, and they go in on the different figures and all that stuff. It's fairly good in an overview way. Doesn't go super in depth, but the Baal Shem Tov.
Awesome. Yeah, if you hold that up again real quick, I want to take a screenshot. I'll look into it.
It's pretty
nice.
Good.
I got it. Nice. I got it. Thank you.
It's pretty good. Baal Shem Tov, master of the good name.
Yeah, I was discussing this last night, in fact, when we were talking a little bit about I and Thou. Voy had come over, Voy the Goy, and he said that it was his job to hate the Jews, and that if I have some of that genetic material in me, then it's his job to hate me. And I'm just curious, like, I know in modern parlance, I mean, I've been trying my best to kind of get up through the historical narrative and find the essential vein of that energy. And I know it does have a lot to do, I think, with like secret societies and some sort of nefarious influence, like through various sects, but Frankism for one, in like the perversion of the world and the perversion of truth. But I'm curious, like at everyone's individual level, that's more of like a collective pushback against what they're doing, and not per se like at the individual, right?
It depends on what you mean, because obviously Judaism, J is a loaded term, and when someone says hate J, based on what criteria and where are they coming from? Are they coming from a racial standpoint? Are they coming from a theological standpoint? Right. So some would say that there's an ancient battle and animosity from certain groups of J's towards particular groups, whether it be Anglo-Saxons or whatever you want to call it. And there's been an old school death struggle that culminated with World War II and whatnot. And there's some would say that certain groups of people are seen as permanent enemies because of the potential power they have. And so it's kind of like a arch enemy, for lack of a better term. So it just depends on where somebody's coming from. You know, when you have a group of people that are alien nation within a nation, it's kind of hard because some nations are all about having their own nation, and it's like live or let live. You go be your nation over there, we'll be our nation over here. But when there's a particular ideology and group that believes in subverting all nations because of Tikkun Olam and whatever you want to call it, and basically lay ownership to the earth, it creates a huge conflict. And so I think with certain cultures, when it's live or let live, it's live or let live. But with certain cultures that have ambitious goals to the level that some Jewish folks do, that doesn't mean some Jewish guy selling pastrami in a deli is looking to take over the world, right? So that would be the individual thing you're talking about. But it's just such a loaded term. Some would say that that struggle won't end because of the inherent philosophies. Some would say genetic and things like that. I wouldn't go into all that, but I would definitely agree that Judaism itself is in conflict with the world. I do think that it's not a live or let live ideology. And so how do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile an alienation within a nation? I'm not sure there's an answer for that. And it depends on what you mean by hate, right? Some people say, oh, we need to hate in order to have love for our own people. I don't know if that's the right philosophy to have, you know? So I don't know. It's just I would need more information on who you were talking about and what you're saying.
Right. That's a very nuanced conversation. I notice a lot of people just take like an reducto ad absurdum approach and straw man the other person. And then, you know, if this is mentioned like a shalom, like from Twilight, for example, then there's some immediate like blowback against that. And then there seems to be a somewhat of a categorizing, like a boiling down into this abstract.
Saying that from?
Yeah, Twilight's sort of expert on this subject, honestly. He vacillates between extreme Jewish love and extreme Jewish hatred. He's sort of like this. He's an interesting guy. The interpolarity of his beliefs is fascinating.
A hard one to pin down when he takes a little bit from everything, from everywhere. Apparently,
I think that me and Twilight have a lot in common, but he's done the heavy lifting to get a better, like more educated perspective than I have. So yeah, I'm new to this, very new to all of this.
Yeah, he's done a lot of heavy lifting for sure. That's obvious. You can tell that he's well read, no doubt. I have a couple things that don't make sense, that but to each their own. You know what I mean? Because he's saying people are individuals, which is true. It is just kind of a nuanced thing, right? Because people are individuals, and it's kind of like a family, right? you fight really hard with your brother, and you're individuals. You're totally different. My brother's totally different than me. But when you have an outside source, all of a sudden you're family. So you might have Hasidics going against, you might have like the whole battle between, the what do you call them? The shit that Trump is, the Chabad and all this shit going against the others, and there's this at least appearance of individual strife until there's outside sources, until all of a sudden they're family, right? So people say that they're like, well, there's different sects and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, when they're on the inside, but then when there's external things to Judaism, all of a sudden they're all together from their perspective. But if somebody else has that perspective from the outside looking in, it's looked at as like this horrible, hateful thing. It's like, well, they see themselves that way. So,
And it seems to work somehow for them because they have achieved some sort of like real power in this world with the ability to chastise or truncate or vilify people that would come at them. I mean, with even like single words. I mean, how powerful is that kind of magic where
yeah,
you could just drop anti-Semitic and suddenly
Yep.
not only is the whole conversation over, but people are getting, taken away and shit. So yeah, it's quite a
exactly.
thing.
So you tell me, if I were to be some political figure or whoever, and I got struck down and blackballed because I was branded an anti-Semite, how is that not benefiting? How is it benefiting like Hasidics but not the others? And how do you differentiate that, or is it benefiting them as a whole?
Yeah, I would say it does benefit as a whole somehow. And I like that
Yeah.
what Twilight points out that it's more a conversation of authentic versus inauthentic, right? And the charlatans need to be rooted out for sure. And I think that's where a lot of the trouble comes from are those secret society agendas that, push the charlatans to the forefront.
Yeah. But if your secret society is called Freemasonry and it's to rebuild Solomon's temple, whose agenda are you pushing? Or is it just the fact that you're in a secret society? Some people would say it's all about philosophy, right? So like if people buy into a philosophy or an ideology, it's like the technology of that philosophy that's reigning. I don't buy into that. I just don't buy it. I think that blood goes deeper than theology. I think theology is a strong bond, and I do think like you can have a Islamic nation, you can have a Christian nation, right? But I haven't seen any arguments or logic that makes sense to me that shows that that's stronger than blood and stronger than tribe. I just don't. I'm not understanding that part.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why I'm here to ask questions. Like from my own experience, like having reinvigorated my study of Kabbalah, like there seems to be something in my blood, I guess, that links to it because the like visceral power forms were far more like attainable and like real somehow than even after 30 years of studying esoteric Chinese Tao. Like it just, and maybe it had something to do, maybe there was some correlation between doing Qigong and then endeavoring to study it. And they, for some reason, they say you should wait until you're in your 40s to actually pick up the Kabbalah of wizardry. But again, like is what I'm doing somehow playing into that greater current, even though like maybe I'm an unwitting participant in it, and that's why I'm seeking out the more in-depth, educated view of it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
I would say it's pretty nefarious. The reason is because um because Christianity's piggybacked on the Old Testament, right? And that means that the Old Testament, which is not, specifically, I guess, owned by Jays, right? But yet it presents a plot for Jayish world domination. There's not, the way that, Mr. Anderson said, there's not a lot of proof that they wrote the damn thing, right? So it's like, so going back to that, it seems like some group may have just claimed this and now they're using it towards nefarious purposes, even cultivating Christians, right? And Muslims in order to do that, right? So that would suggest that it's all pretty nefarious. But now there is an aspect to which, there's people. Now, I would say this is a very small sliver of people, right, that are Torah observant Jays that are against all of this, right? That are like, look, like we're trying to study the Torah. We're trying to get back to the OG message. Right, and we don't support any of this dog shit that's going on in the name of Judaism and all this stuff, right? Those are actually so they do exist, right? So if we were gonna say, well, Judaism, if we could have it without all of its nefarious purposes, that does exist, but it would just seem to be a very, very small, like less than 1%, right, of the total package of what's going on, right? So there lies the problem, right? So if I had to be just totally honest about it, I'd say this group that is sort of the fake group, right? It sort of spiritually controls most Christians and Muslims, right? Right. It would seem that way, right? And have them doing its bidding. Not only that, they seem to control occultists and atheists and so on and so forth as well, right? And they're not, quote unquote, Jay-ish. They're sort of using that. They're actually sort of neo-pagans or something like that. So this is kind of what I was saying.
For a bit of clarity on one point, would you say that Messianic Jews in general kind of fit into that 1% category of people that aren't necessarily going down the current of dissolution of the original teaching, as it were?
I would say Messianic Jews are one of the foremost groups that's going down that bad road. Right, so they are maybe the cream of the crop of what I was talking about when I mean negative aspect of what's going on in terms of the fake Jays, Synagogue of Satan, so on and so forth. Right, I would say they are the cream of the crop because, see, they have a visceral rejection for our boy JC. Right, so whether or not you like JC, it seems like it's better if you like him. But you don't have to believe that he exists. It's just better if you like him, right? Like, and I don't know what.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean by that, right?
I put my Pascal wager in that direction, definitely.
Right, exactly.
Oh, Pascal's wager.
I'd have to say if there's a group on Earth that's just like, well, no to JC, we actually have a visceral hatred for JC and everything that JC represents, then I'd say, that's sort of weird, right? It's a weird starting point for your entire philosophy.
Sort of weird.
That's a big problem.
He's boiling in excrement. That is pretty weird.
It's a weird starting point for somebody's philosophy. Like, it's like, all right.
Definitely a big problem there. Yeah.
Well, it's the internal struggle of Judaism too. There's been a lot of different sects that have battled internally, and what I would call the bad ones definitely won out. Totally stomped the other ones the fuck out. So it's like when you talk about Judaism, yeah, there's some Torah observance that would say we're bringing the real shit back type of thing, but are they going to be successful? I don't know. Judaism has become a very powerful technology that's gone way beyond Torah observantism. And
continue with that line, guys. That's something I'm interested in because I found that, like what I was saying a moment ago, that it actually seems to function when I read Torah in original Hebrew and invoke and incant and like use the colors and the frequencies and stuff. It actually seems to have tangible effect, whereas I haven't found that in anything else really. Maybe a little bit in Taoism.
But weren't you doing the same with Kabbalah?
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like yesterday, TML, you were on, no, I mean, reading the original works of the Bible in Hebrew. Yeah, it's similar once you practice magic. I don't know if any of you guys have actually done magic before, but from that perspective.
Nope.
But I was going to say, TML, that like a moment yesterday on Chats with Jack, you had mentioned the gardener versus the architect, or the artist and the engineer, and that's essentially the lower spheres of Kabbalah, right? That's the Netzach and the Had sphere within the Tree of Life. And so even if folks try to avoid it, they may in fact be talking about it and practicing Kabbalah as well. And like you said, guys, it may be an older technology that predates the Jays, as it were.
I have no doubt that it predates the so-called Jays, whatever whatever the J means at this point in time. Because we've got a Frankenstein that we're calling Jews right now. That is not some ancient group. So yeah, I definitely would say that it predates it. But you're saying that there's a fundamental thing that resonates as true with Kabbalah. And maybe that's why the Jews kidnapped it, so to speak.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm not totally against Plato either, right? Like I would look at Plato on his own terms, and I'll do that with the Kabbalah as well, right? So I understand there's truth in it, as Frank has just said, right? But you have to look at it as a complete system and then put it in its historical context and look at what it seeks to accomplish in the future. And having taken all that into consideration and its effect on occultism, right, its effect on Freemasonry and so on and so forth, right, I would have to say, again, I would study it on its own terms and not try to incorporate it into my belief system, right? For sure. And there's also a main reason for me for that. I try not to attain enlightenment, right? I think that's a trap. I fundamentally think it's a trap, right? I think it's a selfish pursuit, and it could lead you away from God, right? At the very least, right? So anytime somebody says, "Oh, do this, you're gonna get enlightened," I say, no, thank you, right? so I've got some sort of a cynic in that way, right?
And I would agree that like all the ancient Taoists would support you in that track.
Yeah,
thinking,
exactly.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
Lao Tzu would say, just watch out, keep your mind
Exactly,
simple and pure.
Right. Yeah.
Stay the fuck away from all that.
Right. Like. Yeah, it's like.
If not, why not just go all the way and be a transhumanist?
Right. Exactly. Right. Why not use all the scientific tools that you can to gain enlightenment? Right?
Yep,
If you can open up.
That seems to be somehow what the great darkness is pushing towards. And that, in my mind, I would think that would be like the complete elimination of humanity in general.
Yeah, let me like split open the roof of my mouth so I could stick my tongue up there so I could open my pineal gland. It's like, let's get really crazy with it.
Right, or like some of the Buddhists, they insert a glass or metal straw into the top of their head at my way
Right.
to let the ghosts come in and out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I wasn't far off.
Demon.
Yeah, dialed in. I mean, that's so far beyond what would be natural.
But that's built in. Wouldn't that be built into the Kabbalah thing?
Maybe, and that's what
instead
maybe
of
that's how I don't
say light.
I don't have enough research into it. I was just commenting on its efficacy.
Efficacy for what? Like, what results are we talking about?
Okay, I'll give you a basic example. When I studied Chinese Qigong and I was pursuing to open the inner channels, as it were, like it took a long time on certain practices. Like one I did was called Umei Shenshu, or the great secret technique of Umei spirit, right? A guy who supposedly lived in Umei, and he passed down a manuscript. And it's a very basic process of internal alchemy that you go through, but it takes essentially 9 years for the response to occur. But after those 9 years of diligent practice with very little deviation from that single method, like the things that are supposed to happen do happen. And maybe some of that is a self-fulfilling prophecy. But some of that internal work, like when I started to study Kabbalah and the Hebrew alphabet and stuff, like its response was immediate. It didn't take any real, like, serious pursuit of time, maybe a couple of months. And similar types of internal affects were occurring like really rapidly. And then when I learned certain, like, of the 72 God names and then it sought to invoke them, the response was immediate. It wasn't like I had to sit around and do a certain practice for years and years and years before it became apparent. It was, and I could describe it in great detail, but it would be a deviation from what I'm trying to present.
But what affect? Like,
Yes.
what
Blessing.
affect? Peace.
This gets into something incredibly deep that I'm working. I've had my hands full with so much, but I'm actually creating my own magical system currently, and one of the, not even one of the absolute most vital elements of any magical system, whether you're actually practicing magic or just reformatting your reality in the sense of how you see it, how you perceive it, and how it's reflected back to you. People do not realize how powerful language actually is and what it actually does. So he's talking about God names and all of that. Every single language on earth formats reality in a different way. Okay? So I have a ton of information on this. I'm trying to find it right now. I'm not gonna get into all of it because we'd be here a long time.
Yeah,
But
blessings, Twilight, and shalom.
Shalom, brother. So the linguistics, the way that we intone words, the way that we vibrate words, this is why you have mantras, okay? They actually restructured. It's not just like the way you're speaking. When you use different languages, it actually changes the way that you perceive reality itself. It formats it. It shows what you see first, how you see it, how it is, projected to others. It's really so, and this is why I'm always, when people talk about everything that's going on in the world, and I say, look, there can be a bomb that's dropped, next door. And if you have faith, okay, to put it in a religious context, if you have faith in God, okay, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. It never says that the weapon won't be formed. It never says that there won't be an enemy at your door. It never says you won't go through hardship. It means that if you have faith in the divine, that it doesn't matter. That's what it means.
Yeah, and the Tao Te Ching reiterates that, right? When you flow with the Tao, poisonous insects will not strike you, and the sword can find no place to attack you, and it's because you harbor no death within you.
Is
Right.
it like a type of changing your frequency?
It's what spirit you hold is what what you project out is what comes back to you. It's that simple. Like they talk about The Secret, and they say, "Oh, well, if you believe this and you believe that, you'll manifest this and you'll manifest that." That's a half truth. It's not what you believe; it's what you are. And then this gets into the true will and what Crowley was really talking about. It's having single pointed attention, having no contradictions within yourself, having no mixed desires, having single pointed attention like a laser. That
One
what you want,
pointedness.
what your goal is, when your thoughts and your words and your actions all are in alignment with each other and there's no contradiction. Do you
that
see what I'm
harmony.
saying?
Yeah,
There has
Reddington
to
had an
be-
idea he wanted to bring forward.
There has to be a harmonic resonance between all of it. When thy eye be single, thy whole body be full of light. Right? So that's what it is. And so it just boggles my mind, especially with people that are religious. And I'm not trying to cast stones. I see this with love, okay? Because everybody looks at me and they're like, "Oh, he's an occultist, he's evil, he's whatever," and that's fine and dandy, okay? But to me, it's like, look, if you really believe in God, then what do you care what the Illuminati is doing? Because God said that He had you. God adopted you as a son, as a daughter into His kingdom, correct?
Because
So
God
what do
uses
you?
people.
So what do you care what the enemy is doing?
Because God uses people. God doesn't come down as a magic orb to defeat the evildoers. He uses people. That's why.
Where in
And
the Bible?
I like.
where-
Wait a minute. Wait, just a second. I like how TML reorganized the aesthetics. Man, it's fucking genius. This guy's got an eye for beauty.
Is this the feng shui of panels? I'm pronouncing it right.
But what?
Oh yeah, absolutely perfect feng shui. Yeah, beautiful.
But Twilight, you were saying that it can bring harmonic resonance to the point where you're laser precise, right?
Oh, I see what you did
I'm
there.
saying that you have to have
Why do
no
I want that?
contradictions.
Why do I want that? And what does it do for you?
Why would you want that? I'm saying, like, if you're trying to manifest things within your life, whether you're a magician or you're just an average everyday person, because look, the thing is this: everyone's a magician whether they realize it or not. It's just people that actually practice it are doing it consciously. You're already manifesting your reality, like it or not. What you think, what you do, as a man thinketh, so is he. Okay? That's what this means. Keep every thought captive. Why? Because you are generating your reality. What you believe, you conceive. So if you're constantly full of fear, which Jesus says there is no love and fear, but perfect love casteth out fear, okay, then that's what you're going to bring to you. But if you're in a resonance, if you're in a vibration of gratitude and compassion and understanding and knowledge and trying to elevate yourself, then that's what you will attract. It's not rocket science.
Well, absolutely. And Mr. Anderson, to like readdress what you had mentioned a moment ago, like about the affects, like there are certain prohibitions put in place to know, to will, to dare, to be silent, right?
Correct.
And I could lay them on the table, but it's like casting pearls before the swine because most people will just try to intellectually dichotomize them.
That's exactly the problem. Is the intellect is a knife. Okay, it's used to cut things. It's used to put things into boxes so that we can understand them. It's used, it's the double-edged sword. In the tarot cards, it's air. The mind is like air. The mind is outside of time and space. Okay, you don't have to. There's no temporal restrictions within the mind. You can think of something from the past, the present, or the possible future. Okay, and so the mind, okay, like fire, can, if you're not in control of it, it can control you. So if you're not in control of your mind, someone else will control it for you. If you're not aware of your own impulses, your own desires, your own weaknesses, your own impulses, or whatever, then you then become, a product of someone else's wishes.
So aren't you talking about
Yeah.
reprogramming yourself with algorithms that will cause harmonic resonance? So you intellectually discovered these things.
Go ahead.
I was just curious because it sounds like you're developing basically algorithms for how to reprogram yourself, right?
Well, I wouldn't use the word algorithm
because
because
do you have a problem with Scientology, Mr. Anderson?
I would say that's the archontic intrusion. You need to go back to a harmonic, natural sense of way of being. But yes, you are essentially clearing the okay, look, you have a brain and you have the mind. The brain is a program. The brain is just a computer programmed by the world. Okay, and it's a set of programs. It's a set of you know, it's basically a tape loop. It's what you grew up with. It's what you were told when you were a child. It's what you were told by society. It's what you were told by.
You're saying it's a processor chip, and then the mind is you, right?
I'm saying it's not you. To put it
The
in like
brain's not
Buddhist
me,
or
the mind
to
is.
put, it's Maya. Okay, it's the true illusion. It's telling you what you are. It's telling you your identity. That's what the ego is. The
Then
ego
who
is
are
nothing
you?
more than your identity.
Who are
It's
you?
saying you. It's saying you are white. You are Italian. You are American. You are a plumber. You are a scientist. You are, you know,
Well,
whatever you are.
Who are you? Who are you? Truly.
he's God.
You are
Hello?
consciousness. You are consciousness having a human experience. That's what you are.
So is there one consciousness, like how radio sends out a
No.
signal and then you can break the radio? Or what do you mean consciousness? You
I'm
are
saying
consciousness.
you are
Am I my own
awareness.
consciousness? A unique
You are
consciousness?
you are your own consciousness. Yes.
So me, so like my mind, so that's not the mind separate from the brain?
No.
So
The brain
so
is. Go ahead.
I want to do one clarifying question really quick. So when Giorgiani says that once we get our mind star right, we can program reality into our consciousness. Do you agree with that, or is that a mischaracterization?
More or less. It's a matter of terminology.
So we refine our mind into a sun, and then the sun radiates consciousness out into everything else.
The sun is symbolism. The sun represents the self, the solar world, the persona. You can get into the astrology, you can get into the tarot. The sun represents what is visible to you and to others. The moon represents what is invisible. The moon represents emotions and thoughts, how you think. So for instance, like in astrology, okay, your sun sign represents what your persona is, how you appear to yourself and how you appear to others. The moon represents what is occulted from you, or how your mind and your emotions work. And the different signs represent different archetypes.
So is the goal to ultimately be fully sun, so you reveal everything about yourself to yourself, and then if you can handle it, you can wield that out into everything else?
Well, it's a matter of becoming aware of who you are and knowing that, so that when you become aware of it, you become psychically immune from any attack.
So
that's the point of understanding any of this.
So is it basically like you're trying to like nuclear fission will and awareness?
It's just self-awareness and self-mastery, man.
Right,
it's
but
just
I'm saying
knowing what you are
like,
beyond the superficial.
But I'm saying with will, meaning like it's like
there's
the awareness
nothing but will. There's nothing but will, and will can never be enslaved or free. Both are contradictions.
Okay,
if you really get into it, because there's nothing but will.
Wait. Did you replace the term will with desire?
No. Although in a sense you do have a point. Like for instance, Crowley changed the strength card to the lust card, and people were really confused. Because in the sense that will is a desire, not it's a higher desire. Like you have, for instance, you have emotions, okay, which is something that you want in the present tense, something that it's a transitory desire. You need food, you need sex, you need safety, okay? That's a transitory desire. But then there are things that are deeper than that, which would be considered your dharma, your reason for existence. Things that you might not necessarily want to do, but that you need to do. Like protect your family. Like, just whatever it is that lights you up. Whatever it is that you truly feel that you should do. Not what someone else tells you should do, not what you feel you need to do so that you can appease society or appease the world, or that you can keep up with the Joneses or whatever, but what truly makes you happy. Not in a transitory sense where, oh, I can go buy a car so I can be happy, or I can go do drugs, I can be happy. But to have not even really happiness, but a true sense of joy, contentment, peace. Okay? So it's understanding the difference between the two. This is why in Buddhism it says that desire and all that leads to emptiness, and that life is suffering. Life is suffering because we attach to things that are illusionary. We think that things give us happiness that really don't in the end, like materialism.
So is the goal?
Like
so is the goal if you find yourself in congruence with will and happiness and all these different things that we're kind of boiled down back to will or desire? If we do that successfully, are you saying that we then project that and radiate that out into all existence, or we create a new existence?
I'm saying that you would determine your reality. And so if you put your true will out there authentically, the universe responds. Okay,
Yeah,
look.
and for an easy answer for Neurojack, real quick, if I may. Yes, there is a tangible shift in your paradigm and your perceived reality.
All right.
And yeah, as a result, the gates of heaven do open to you.
All right. Let me. I'm gonna try. I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm just gonna do it. Anyone who follows me will follow me. People have told me before, just say what you say and don't think about it. So I'm just gonna break it down real easy.
Well,
all right? You understand me, you understand me, you don't. True will is not desire, identity, or destiny. True will is not who you think you are. True will is not what you want. True will is not what you plan. True will is not fate. This is egoic projection. Okay? So what I'm saying is, it's your perceptual signature, your innate field of competence. Okay? The path of your it's not excitement, it's not chaos, it's not pleasure, it's not manifestation. Okay? It's not a job, it's not a title, it's not a purpose, it's not a career, it's not a calling, it's not a contract. Okay? It's a direction of force.
A lot of times I do what I don't want to do.
Well, that's exactly. Well, there you go. Well, that's the distraction, and this is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay.
The Bible, Paul says that sometimes we will not to do something, but we do it anyway. Like we go.
Yes, that's when we become divorced from God. You could say
the flesh ruling over the spirit type thing.
Yes. Well, the flesh. Well, I mean, the way that I understand the flesh, what it's really saying is, it's just like it's our animal desires. It's our animal desires. We confuse our animal desires for what we really need, and that's how the world has been so hypnotized. And why no one is happy, especially people who have everything they think they want, and they're the first ones to be suicidal.
And I think sometimes people's desire for like tangible anchors is what is obfuscating like the direct transmission of the message, and that's why maybe they get a little confused, right? Because it obfuscates to some extent, right? Like drawing the abstract into the tangible. They're looking for those tangible anchors that they can get their hooks into. And I agree with you that that's a part of the deviation, right? That it prevents a true grasping of the thing, or grokking of it, as it were.
It seems kind of vague, though. Like,
so basically, so basically, it's a line of motion.
You got to give them something to sink their teeth into.
So yeah, you're saying it's like. Oh, sorry.
I'm lost. I'm lost on the.
Yeah, I think Mr. Anderson had a question, and then I think Neurojack. Yeah, and then is it for Twilight?
I was just gonna use an analogy and see if this fits. Like, is it like the edge of a samurai blade that's making contact with its target?
The magical intent would be definitely the E, as it's said in Chinese.
So, but isn't that an argument from efficiency? Meaning, like, basically, will can't exist unless it's efficiently being.
Okay.
acted. So it's isn't it? Well, my point is this. Aren't you making a positive moral stance as far as like what becoming is? Meaning, like, you can only when you're effectively applying your intent or will are you actually incongruent. So my point is, like, how can you do that when you're sleeping or when you're sick or when you're,
with your samurai blade,
right?
with your samurai blade analogy, I would delineate a little more and say that the will and the intent are very different, and in that the will is the force bringing the blade down, whereas the E is the triangulated point of focus and the actual cutting. So they're different.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Where it's only when you're actually effective do you reach a state of enlightenment or whatever you want to say it, right? Like, is it tied to your effectiveness? For example, right, in Christianity, it's not necessarily what you're doing, but your intent, which can always be there regardless of what you do. Meaning, you could basically be comatose, but if your intent has always been in a general direction, you still maintain a general salvation, right?
Yeah, that makes sense, but I don't hear a question.
The question is what is all the vague stuff?
You have the will of the mind.
Let me make sure I'm clear really quick. Let me just make sure I'm clear. If my point is this, if do you have to be actively doing something to achieve the will, versus in Christianity where you can do nothing relatively to achieve salvation because it's a free gift, right? So, like, are you saying that you have to be doing something?
I'd refer back to TML earlier in the show, that it's kind of an interdependence of the two. They're interconnected. That, right? You can't do one or the other, really. You have to do both. But that's my interpretation of it.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that earlier.
I would agree with that, actually. That the combination.
That works.
I'm just curious what all those kind of vague platitudes and things, which of those are exclusive to Kabbalah, and why is it that you need to use Kabbalah to achieve any of that? And why can't faith cut right through that instead of programming?
I would agree with you. I would agree with you in that you don't need it at all, and that you can never even know about it, and you'll still practice the supreme method if your heart is pure.
So if I don't practice Kabbalah, I'm still practicing Kabbalah?
Essentially, yeah.
That makes no sense. I thought you were talking about not contradicting himself.
Let me explain how it manifests.
Gaslight.
No. I'll give you a brief. I can give you the 30-second spiel. The way it manifests as the Jesus, right, or the Christ. If I may finish, I can do it in 30 seconds. I swear, Twilight. The Christic consciousness manifesting into this world between heaven and earth. It's essentially how we're created. The lightning strike comes down the tree of life, and it's what gives birth to you. So there's no real way for you to avoid that. It's a natural progression to return to the abstract up the lightning strike and the tree of life. And from my perspective, you cannot, that's unavoidable. But yeah, you can do whatever you want. You're still doing Kabbalah in my mind.
But climbing up Jacob's ladder is what we were talking about earlier. TML referenced enlightenment, the pursuit of enlightenment. Isn't that the same thing as trying to climb Jacob's ladder?
I wouldn't say that you have to pursue it, that it's just happening. It's a natural reaching upward.
So you believe three is the natural reaching of Allah's divine revelation.
Okay, go ahead.
So you think those of us who don't believe in Islam and the last days and
he's not a Muslim, Mike. So let's just move on to that. Yeah, let's
Well,
move on from that.
okay.
Yeah, he's clearly
So-
not. It's not even that. It's just that he's clearly not a Muslim. But yeah, let's just
Okay.
move on.
Yeah, blessings.
Yeah,
Talking about
let's,
Kabbalah,
Shalom,
dude.
shalom.
let's
Okay.
just move forward. Let's just
Okay.
move forward from that. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's when
So,
you drop
can we
everything
talk
else
about
away.
Islam or not?
No,
The
not right now.
simplest-
We're on a different discussion. Yeah, go
Kabbalah,
ahead,
not
Philip.
Kaaba.
In
So
the sim-
funny.
in the simplest terms, okay. Once all the mystical
like
noise,
you,
occult
maybe.
jargon, once all the mystical noise, occult jargon, philosophy, and ego drama is removed, it means acting from the deepest, cleanest part of yourself that isn't confused, pressured, scared, split, or pretending. To yourself or to others, listen closely. More you lie to yourself, the more the world will lie to you. This isn't an opinion, this is a fact. I don't care if anyone believes me, this is one thing that I will state emphatically. It is the movement that happens when your inner truth lines up with the larger truth of reality, and your actions become straightforward, effective, and strangely inevitable. It's not mystical destiny, not a spiritual mission, not a life purpose, not a cosmic role. It's the movement when what you truly are, what reality actually is, and what needs to happen next all match in a straight line. Most people never experience it clearly because they're tangled in noise, fear, self-doubt, stories about who they should be, stories about what life should mean, and unhealthy influence that pull their attention into confusion and chaos. True will appears only when all of that drops away. Not because you tried to be pure or special, but because the unnecessary layers temporarily fall silent and the underlying direction becomes obvious. In Aeonic terms, this underlying direction is, in my tradition, called Thelike, which simply means the force of intention in the universe. Not intention in a magical sense, but intention is the natural forward motion of life itself. Everything in nature has direction. Rivers flow, vines climb, stars move, animals act from instinct. Humans have this too, but unlike rivers and animals, humans can get tangled in self-generated illusions. We can act against our own deeper movement, or hesitate or doubt, or try to follow something we think we're supposed to want. True will is what happens when a human stops fighting their own natural direction and lets the deeper current run straight. In other words, when you stop caring about what everybody else thinks about you, when you stop caring about what you think about you, and you just do what the fuck you need to do. That current doesn't come from outside you. It's not a God feeling or a God telling you what to do. It's not fate. It's not a higher being. It's not destiny. It's not moral. It's not immoral. It's the cleanest version of your own internal momentum. If you imagine your life as a path, true will is the path that would appear if you erased every fear, every expectation, every attempt to please others, every illusion about becoming something you're not, and every pressure from the outside world, and then simply moved. It's not an idea or a belief. It's the forward motion of your being. When people hear true will, they often imagine something grand, a mission, a spiritual calling, a heroic quest. But true will isn't dramatic. In fact, it's the most practical thing in the world. It's how you act when you're not split against yourself. Anytime you've made a decision with total certainty, no hesitation, no confusion, no inner fight, that was true will. Anytime you've taken action that felt natural, smooth, and strangely obvious, that was true will. Anytime you felt pulled towards something without needing to justify it, explain it, or rationalize it, that was true will. In those moments, your thinking mind isn't leading. It's following something deeper that already knows. This deeper knowing isn't mystical. It's simply clarity without noise. Most of the time, people act from layers of noise, fear, insecurity, desire, approval.
Twilight, can I ask you something about true will?
Yes. Yes.
I was going to ask, how do you confirm that you've done true will? But it sounds like you're saying that if you've made a decision without hesitation, that you're doing true will. So is that the way to confirm you're doing true will?
There's nothing to confirm.
Then how do you know you're doing true will? What if you're under the delusion? And what if you're under the delusion that you're on a straight line?
You're missing the point. This is exactly what I'm saying. Well, it's simple. If you're having a battle within yourself, then it's not free will. Simple as that.
So
There's no contradiction, no
hesitation.
hesitation. There's no hesitation. There's no contradiction.
How often are you
there's
transmitting
no
on your channel right now, Twilight?
What's that?
How often are you transmitting on your channel these days?
Not lately because I've been really busy.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say
But
I
I
need
was-
to come by. We need to co-author a workbook for these guys.
I'm writing a book
well,
right
let
now.
me ask-
I'm actually
let me
writing.
ask you-
I'm actually
I
writing a
think
book
Faith,
right.
I think Faith would be superior to any workbook you come up with.
let me ask this question one more time because I want to make sure that.
Well, what makes
I
you
get-
think that? What makes you think faith is incompatible with what I'm telling you?
Because it's when you're trying to intellectualize and computerize and program the mind.
How is it
in a certain way,
intellectual? How is this intellectual?
You're programming yourself so that you can do the true.
How is it
path.
programming? What
Yeah,
pro-
and
it's the
people-
era-
So I guess
it's the
you're saying
erasure of
apophatic
program.
then. It's apophatic.
People gonna write
People moving,
books. We need
hesitating.
to write a little something
It's
too.
the erasure. It's the erasure of programming. It's the
So it's-
dismantling of belief.
Okay.
It's the annihilation of all obstructions.
So
How?
apophatism. So
It's
apophatic.
faith. It's faith
but-
in yourself and faith in the spirit that lives inside you, the divinity inside you that guides you to the. How can you know God if you can't know yourself?
But aren't you saying like
Your
to-
perception.
aren't you-
If your perception is muddied, if your perception is distorted, if your perception is unclear, then how can you see God?
How can you
Okay,
define
hold on.
what
Explain that to
clear,
me,
what
please.
clear is?
Explain that to me, please.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Let me give a little context for 1 second.
What
Okay.
are the attributes of God?
Most of what you said to me has
What
not
are the
been
attributes
clear.
of God? God is
And
divinity.
keep in
is
mind,
simple.
guys, it's not necessarily a point of argumentation, but a point of like mutual spiritual growth, right?
Yes.
I think we're looking. I think we need to
I'm
define
not
our
arguing
terms.
anything.
Can you guys hear me or
No.
not? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just make this. All right. Let me make this point really brief. Okay,
Audio is
'cause-
good.
Okay. Good. Okay. Let me make sure this is. I just want to make sure we get like a. Because I don't think we're arguing yet. Because I don't think we really understand each other. So hold on really quick. Okay. So are you? Remember you said something to the effect of like, well, you need to experience certain things, right? But in another sense, you're saying, well, we need to annihilate our experiences to become who we actually are underneath all the experiences.
No, you don't annihilate your experiences. You annihilate your attachment to your experiences and to your ego identity. The experiences are fine. The attachment is even fine. It's just realizing that it's not real. You can't destroy something that doesn't exist. Like, okay, in Buddhism, for instance, they say you have to get rid of your ego. Well, some of that has been twisted and contorted. That's not really what it was about. You can't destroy your ego because it doesn't exist in the first place. The ego is something that you create. So what you have to do is realize that it was never real to begin with.
Well, hold
It's
on.
not
That
true.
doesn't make sense.
Then who is you?
Wait,
Who is you? Your
No.
consciousness doesn't
Yeah.
have ego.
What I am saying
Right.
is your ego is your identity.
Right, but
So it's
see,
not-
here's the
it's
thing:
not
is like you're saying, aren't you saying to get rid of your identity to gain a new identity as God or something? Though.
No, what I'm saying is you can't get rid of it because it's your identity. It's how you interact in the world. It's just when you convince yourself that that is you, when that's actually who you are.
So, well, all right. So what
So
you're
what I'm saying
is,
is the self is not static. It is dynamic. Do you follow what I'm telling you?
right,
You
but
are
aren't you kind of
constantly
saying
changing. You are not one thing. You are constantly changing. You are divine. You are in the image of God.
Then why would you kill part of it
You
if it's
can't.
dynamic?
I just said you can't.
So you can't kill the ego.
I just said it. You can't kill something that doesn't exist. It's formless.
So what you're saying is
Always
like we're,
existed.
so what you're saying is we're here cosplaying as an avatar of a Pokemon character, but we're not actually here.
No, we're actually here, but the Pokemon character is a Pokemon character. And we've convinced ourselves that we're the Pokemon character.
So who are you without the character? Are you just energy? Is this like spiritual,
We're-
like thermodynamics?
We are in the image of the divine. Period.
Okay, but like, what if somebody was living purely? What would that look like? Would it look like Aleister Crowley's lifestyle, or like
Yeah,
It looks like
probably
an
not.
individual. It looks individual. There is no one way. This is exactly my entire point.
I want to address the chat real quick. Michael
There is
Malzahn,
no one way. There's only your way.
That's not nice.
Yeah, there's
That's not
also
polite.
Sabotage Debbie's way, right? That's just another way.
No,
Hey, what's up?
that's
So
a
I don't
distortion.
know.
Somebody wanted to address me?
That's the exact opposite of what I'm saying. That's falling into transitory desires.
Are you Michael from the chat?
I
Yes,
am
ma'am.
Michael from the chat. Yes.
Oh, okay. Then that's probably an old thread I don't know much about.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's just,
I don't know. What do you,
yeah, that's just what he
wanna
does.
Talk about?
Yeah, that's just what he does. Yeah, go ahead. Who was talking? Please just proceed with the thing.
I think we left off with Mr. Anderson had a question, but I wasn't clear on his
Yeah,
articulation of it.
Yeah, he's trying to
Well,
distract from the
the
conversation.
original
again.
question really was
Mr.
the affect
Crowley.
of practicing Kabbalah. Like, why would somebody need to do that? Like the generalized platitudes and the generalized like following a straight path, no hesitation. Why is that exclusive to Kabbalah? I'm not getting that.
Again, I would reiterate that I don't think that it is, and I don't think anybody really should practice Kabbalah. It's just one of the things I do in my practice, so I wouldn't recommend it for anyone really.
I'll take that.
It's not. This is where everyone is missing. This is no system. This is no practice. This just is.
I thought you were
This
creating
isn't
a
a
new system.
fault. I'm creating my own system, yes. But what I'm telling you is not a system.
It's a system, non-system. It's like Plotinus.
No, I'm creating my own system for me because I have my own path. You have your own path. There is no one way fits all. I am not religious.
So
if you want to be religious, that's your path.
So here's the question. Here's the final boss question. Because like I read Johnny today, and he said something to the effect of like, well, people who deny truth are going to get hit, are going to get killed by truth. And you said something similar, not killed, but you know what I mean. Destroyed by truth, right? So my point is, for like, what is truth under your definition? If everything that we have experienced is basically not real, in the sense of like, this is kind of a dream, right? Like it's real, but not really, right? Then
No,
how
it's
can we
very real.
determine what truth is, right?
No, it's very real. I never once said it wasn't real.
I could sum up my thoughts really quick.
It's
I
like,
would say that there's
what
probably
path do you follow?
more than one facet to the supreme method, but I would say one aspect of that is faith in Christ, and that is a part of the supreme method, and it will ultimately lead you to salvation.
Okay.
Yes, I believe in
Muslims
Christ. I don't
say your
believe in
faith in
religion.
Christ is the way to damnation, right? Does Islam not say those who believe in Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior is the way to damnation?
As I stated as my premise, that there are more than one facets to the thing, and that I would not discount any Islamicist, his belief system, and the way that he's
let's
trying
just
to
move on.
arrive
Yeah, let's just move on.
at purity and truth. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just move on with the conversation that we were having.
Seems a little irrelevant, yeah.
Yeah, very irrelevant.
Well, it's
Third
not.
time.
But I mean, is Michael making the claim that that's what Islam believes in, or something? Is that what he's?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like he knows that much about Islam or anything else. Let's just move on to the conversation we were having. Blessings.
Do you want me to explain to you my interpretation of this?
Yeah, if you could give us the 60-second TikTok
Yeah,
version.
if you stick to one thing at a time so that we can address the one thing.
I was talking about one thing. When I was talking about free will, I was talking about one thing. If you didn't see that, then that's
the problem is we can't
Well,
get
yeah,
the whole
overall.
cosmology in one sitting. You know, it needs to be in the format that we can kind of
Here's the
interact
real
with it a little
question,
better.
though. Here's the real question. Do we need to know? Wait. Do we need to know the whole cosmology to have salvation? If not, what do we need to know? What is
I
free
wasn't
will?
talking. When was I talking about cosmology? I was talking about true will. When did I switch from any other topic?
No, you're right. I was being reductive. I'm just saying that most people these
You
days,
you didn't you didn't
our attention
you
span
didn't.
is limited.
You're not the one who said it, Frank. That's not who I'm addressing.
Someone
you're
said
not.
Cosmo.
You're not who I'm addressing. You said that if I don't, they said if I didn't switch to this or that, I didn't switch to anything. I was talking about true will the whole time. When you peel away everything else that distracts you and thwarts your perception, and you're in a line, in complete alignment, like a laser, like that's what it is. When you stop living as on a tape loop, essentially. When you start actually realizing, like, what is it that makes me tick? What is it that makes me want what I want? Why do I desire the things I desire? But most people can't do that. Most people can't sit in darkness for more than 10 minutes. They lose their
That's
fucking
true.
mind.
What
Yeah, well,
happens
see,
after you do that,
I
though?
can. Well, see, I
What
can.
happens? What happens after you've done that? What happens when you've achieved what you just stated?
Well, what happens is usually people lose their damn minds because
And
they're too extroverted, and so they need to be around people all the time. And what
how,
happens is they get stuck in their they're alone with their
Not
thoughts.
me.
that doesn't
Okay, well,
sound
yes,
very good.
yes,
Like, why
you're
ought I do that?
well because if you stay with it and you face it and you go into meditation and you face your darker emotions and your darker thoughts and your darker impulses, and instead of running from them, you become aware of them, and you come to peace with them, and you integrate them, and you learn about them. You can become a master over them instead of them becoming control over you.
And
So you
what
can
happens
control
once
them.
you've done that? What happens once you've mastered them?
Then you can integrate your darkness and your light, and you become a whole being instead of running from it like a child hiding in the darkness, but from the boogeyman. People hide in light. They're afraid of the darkness.
So you can put
And
a
that's
plaque
why
on
the
your wall
world.
that says "I'm a full being now." Like, what does that actually do once you become a
No,
full being?
it's not about. Well, see, you're stuck in ego already. That's half the point. That's already the problem.
That may be
It's not
true.
about proving anything to anyone but yourself. If you don't understand that, you're already missing the point. This is all about you. It has nothing to do with anybody else. If you
what you're
don't understand
saying-
that, then you're already missing it.
So, like earlier, when the conversation was about pursuit of enlightenment and it being a selfish
It's
pursuit,
not even. It's not
I
even
think I'm
enlightenment.
understanding what TML was saying.
It's not even enlightenment. It's not even enlightenment. It's self mastery.
Okay, self mastery, the pursuit
And
is
Yes.
only about you, right?
No. In this specific exchange, I would have to side with Twilight a little bit. In that, to bring some of these things out, like to tease them out as they were with like a here kitty mentality approach, is within just the realm of skepticism and dichotomy. And I think it a little, in some way, misses the point. That's what I believe.
So it's self mastery.
So when you're
it's
in your
introspection.
state of
I would make the argument that what
you're
Jesus was
meditating
actually.
on what your will is.
Oh wait, hold on. Repeat that, Rocky. Sorry about that. Yeah, repeat that.
I was asking Twilight. So when he's in his state of whatever it is, his meditation, he is trying to find out what his own will is. He's searching for his will.
No, you don't search for will. You become will. This is the thing. We have many desires, many
What is
things
your
that
will?
we want.
What have you determined your will is?
It's something that burns within you. It's individual.
What is it?
I can't tell you.
That's circular.
Why can't you tell us? I mean, you do it.
Well, I was just
contemplate
explaining.
and meditate on it,
Yeah,
and you can't put it into words.
But it's not something that can be articulated into a 30 second
Did you just
soundbite.
Bring
Did you just
truth
hear
with your
everything I
will
was
to
saying?
It is
bring
what
the
it be.
truth, your will
Did you
to love
were
God
you
and your
listening
will
to what I
to
was? Did you just hear what I was
if I
saying?
may, Twilight, to address Rocky directly, if we use the
I don't
analogy
understand.
of
Was
Twilight-
everyone just listening to everything I said?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I
unique
was
to your
Yeah,
absolutely.
listen,
to your
it's
own
very
person.
confusing.
But to directly direct
I
Rocky's
can't
question, if I
tell
may,
you. I can only tell you how to come to to that truth. I can't tell you what it is. I can only tell you how to get
yeah,
there.
yeah, and I can give you
What is the
a
truth?
single four character idiom that will surmise what he's been trying to say for the last few moments. When the water resides, the turtle will emerge, and what that turtle looks like is up to you.
Shit.
Is there any more platitudes to just stack on top of that? Because I'm lost.
Turtles all the way down, son.
There you go. And how's that a platitude?
Well, it's just like rhetoric and phraseology. It kind of, I don't know. I'm just a little
It's
lost.
not
It might
though.
be because I'm just not tracking.
It's like an illustrative analogy of like boiling things down so that
Yeah.
something rises above.
Well, I get that. I get each individual analogy. I'm just a little bit lost, I think. It's probably because I've been working too hard, working too many hours, and my brain's fried. It's probably a reflection of myself. But
That's chaos agent.
Yeah, it's all those human weaknesses, right? Relying on food,
Uh,
energy, air, oxygen.
It's really ironic because I actually feel like Jesus spoke a lot of exactly what I'm talking about. Before the
No,
church
I don't.
took it and twisted it and contorted it into all kinds of whatever the fuck. Like
Yeah, nobody disagrees with that, but yeah.
you know.
I think Rocky would.
But irregardless, like
Maybe Mike.
well, no. Like I actually wrote some stuff about this because it's like when you remove the true teachings of Jesus from church distortion, political shaping, myth making, it becomes surprisingly simple and unexpectedly compatible with aeonic reality, celestic insight,
What were the
and true
true
will.
teachings of Jesus?
Jesus,
What were the true
Jesus,
teachings?
Jesus did not teach submission, obedience, guilt, sin, sacrifice, or dependency on any institution. He taught the
Okay.
opposite: sovereignty, clarity, inner authority, direct perception, liberation from external rule, and the restoration of human beings to their natural alignment with the source of reality. His core message was the kingdom of heaven is within you, meaning not a place, not an afterlife, not a supernatural reward, but a state of consciousness in which the human being perceives directly, unmediated by fear, illusions, or external authority. This is precisely what Aeonic understanding calls alignment with the Aeonic field, and what Celestic language calls the opening of sensory clarity to the living intelligence of
So the
reality
kingdom
itself.
of heaven is not physical at all.
Yes, it's physical. Everything inside is outside as well. They're reflections, they're mirrors of each other. That's why he says that his kingdom of heaven is within you and outside of you, but you can't see it. You're blind. You're blind. He says Jesus pointed repeatedly to an inner source of guidance and truth that cannot be touched by religious authorities or political powers. Every time he confronted the Pharisees or the priests, he was striking at the archontic principle, external control masquerading as divine law. His teaching sought to break the spell of false authority that kept people blind to their own innate connection with the living field of reality and God.
I would
From
agree
the
to that.
Aeonic perspective, his role was not to be worshipped, but to demonstrate what a human looks like when they are aligned with the deeper patterns of existence, when their internal compass is fully open to the current of divinity, the aeon of intention. He lived his true will without contradiction, without hesitation, without living according to fear, guilt, or obedience. His teaching, follow me, never meant to submit to me as a master, but walk in the same direct perception I walk in. Reclaim your birthright as a free being. In this sense, Jesus was a teacher long before the word existed because he taught people to act from their deepest internal alignment rather than from external rules. So there you go. True will, acting from your deepest internal alignment rather than from external rules. Your
It-
faith
it-
has made you.
There's that antinomianism.
Is
Your
true
faith-
will your philosophy, or is that Kabbalah?
Your faith has made you whole. It has nothing to do with Kabbalah. Your faith has made you whole. Means your inner alignment restored you. Not I healed you by divine power. He was telling you the power is you.
I
Jesus
agree with
was a-
most of that, what you said.
Jesus was a teacher of sensory correction. He pointed out repeatedly that people do not see what is right in front of them. They live in illusions created by fear, tradition, authority, and mental habits. When he said those who have eyes see, he was not speaking poetically. He meant that most people live in their senses clouded and cannot perceive the aeonic truth. They look at the world through inherited stories, religious rules, cultural expectations, and internalized shame. Jesus taught people to see without filters. This is exactly what Celestic practice calls restoring perceptual sovereignty. His parables were not moral stories. They were shock devices designed to break habitual thinking patterns and force the listener into a moment of clarity where direct perception could occur. Jesus' rejection of hierarchy was radical. He taught that no priest, no ruler, no holy man stands between a person and the source of life. Call no man your master, he said, for the kingdom is within you. This is a Telestic principle. No external authority dictates your will. In aeonic reality, the human is designed to operate with direct connection to the living intelligence of the world. Sophia, in the Gnostic sense, the aeon of the earth. Jesus' original message aligns with this entirely. The living presence of truth is not in heaven far away. It is here, in the world, in nature, in the human heart, in the direct experience of life. His repeated use of nature-based metaphors, seeds, trees, vines, growth, was not poetic decoration. It was an instruction. Look at how nature operates. It operates in true will. It grows in accordance with its pattern. It does not live in guilt, fear, or shame. Humanity is meant to do the same. When Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, this has been misunderstood. In aeonic and celestial terms, he was not referring to himself as a person or as an exclusive conduit. The original meaning is closer to the state of being I embody the enlightenment, the clarity, the direct perception is the way to life. He was saying this mode of consciousness is the path, not my personality or my worship. In first century Aramaic, the phrase can be understood as my way of being is the path to real life. It is a description of a state, not an invitation to idol worship. Christian institutions later transformed it into an authoritarian claim, the opposite of what he taught. One of the most misunderstood teachings is love your enemies. In aeonic terms, this was not a moral instruction. It meant do not let your perception be corrupted by hatred. Hatred distorts the senses and pulls you out of alignment. When you hate, you lose clarity. When you lose clarity, you fall into archontic influence, confusion, illusion, false authority, fear,
So
and
did you
reactive
just
thinking.
say that? Did you just say that Jesus is not the way, the truth, and the life, but that it's achieving
Ruh-roh.
the conscience of Christ?
I'm saying
then
Jesus
Ben-
doesn't want. I'm saying Jesus doesn't want you to worship him like an idol. He wants you to do as he did. They asked him, "What do you want us to do?"
Jesus?
Jesus, when the disciples asked him,
I would agree with
"What
that.
do you want us to do?" And he says, "Do as I do." It's simple. Don't repeat what I said. Do as I do. Don't give me lip service. Do it in action. I don't want to hear your words. I want to see your actions. It's simple as that. People
So
want to look. The
did
letter
Jesus
kills, but the
say-
spirit gives life. Correct? Oh, I was a very devout Christian at one point.
I'm laughing because I said those exact words earlier in the stream.
So, yeah. Okay.
So did
The
Jesus
church turned this into a system of control and fear and guilt and shame when it was never meant to be that. They just murdered all the so-called heretics who told you didn't need anything between you and God. You know, it said they were evil. Created the entire Inquisition, and they did nothing
I mean, the
and just
Pharisees
slaughtered
and
them
the
wholesale. Well, Jesus called them. He said they're the traditions of the elders, which is the Talmud. I have a whole documentary on that and a whole
Like
bunch of
Orthodox.
resources on it. Well, the Talmud
I'm
is
just
completely
wondering, did Jesus eat pork?
probably not.
Okay. Thank you for your answer. We're going to go with that's a no.
Probably.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know, man. He might have
He
eaten the
ate
fuck out of
fish,
some
apparently.
ribs.
I mean, he drank.
He didn't
Okay.
get drunk.
So he drank alcohol,
I mean, he drank wine, right?
right? Well, yeah. I mean,
Unless that's a parable, I don't know. I
No,
don't know.
it's likely.
turned
It's
water
likely
into wine?
fact. Yeah, he was a good man.
They drink
I
it
do
like
believe-
water. Because
I
water
have
back
no
then
proof.
was contaminated.
Well,
They had to
I'm not
put little
religious. So I have no evidence that
wine
he
in
actually walked the earth,
sterilized.
but I have faith that he did.
Yeah.
But I don't
agree.
believe the
I
story
agree.
that the church gives us is actually the truth either. But
Could be
but-
a reinterpretation of Dionysus or something. With the
but his
Bi-
parables,
Right.
are very powerful, and the ones that they also just erased, when they said, "Oh, well, this is heresy," are also very powerful.
Yeah, and it's interesting
and-
too. I don't know which direction the encoding goes, but they're all available in Chinese as well. As I start to study the scripture more, and I've really well versed in Tao, like it's all already there in Tao, which is supposedly 500 years before Christ, and some of it
Yes.
3,000 years before Christ. So
Seraphim Rose has entered the chat.
it seems interesting to me that he probably did come to the East and study for a while
Yes.
and brought that teaching back in a different form.
Most definitely, Frank. I agree with that. I think he was all over the place. I don't agree with the church's
That
idea
would
of
make
him. I
it more
think it was
interesting for sure.
no. I think most definitely that he did. There's way too much evidence that he was. Like they aren't just
Yeah,
making up
I
stories.
would agree with that. I would agree
Yeah,
with
no.
that,
I mean,
definitely.
you don't
I
get
think-
to see him from baby to 12 years old to 30 years old and a half. So there's a lot
Jesus-
of time in between.
Jesus was a master of many traditions. Like, yeah, no, exactly, Red. They covered it up. He was a threat to the powers that be. I don't believe he was God in the flesh, but I believe that he achieved a sense of understanding of what God is that very few do, and he tried to explain it, and it all got twisted up, and then hijacked and used as a system of control to enslave
So you
people.
said Jesus. So you think Jesus was a liar then, right?
No,
Well, he said, "I am. I am."
yeah, because he became
He
aware
said he was God.
of his equality with divinity. We're all divine.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was a lot of
And I feel very
misinterpolation of what he actually probably spoke, I think. And
Yes.
in Hebrew, that's a really straightforward, right? The I am expression. So I think you're misreading it.
Yes. That's why they went to throw stones at him, in fact. Because when he said that, he was saying in Hebrew, Iya Esher Iya, which was literally, I am God. And they're like, how can you be God? Because he was saying like, I'll bring you out of
You just said he wasn't
captivity.
God.
He says, I'll bring you out of captivity. And they're like, what are you talking about? Moses brought us out of captivity.
So he's a liar.
And he's like, no, but you may have been physically brought out of Egypt, but you're still enslaved. And he's like,
Before
we see
Abraham
clearly.
was.
And he says, no. He says, no, you're blind. He says, my followers know they are blind, and so they will see. But you are blind, and so you will remain blind. Jesus was over people's heads, man. That's the reality.
Just playing that.
And then they
5G
turned it
chess.
into something literal to control people. That's the truth. Because he's like, well, how can you say that you knew Abraham? You're only 30 years old or whatever. And he's like, before Abraham was, I am. And they're like, well, how is that possible? Because I existed before. 1 John, right? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. See, Christ exists pre. Christ is a spirit. Christ is an aeon in my tradition. Christ is different. Christ is a divinity. Jesus became a Christ. Jesus is not Christ. They're separate. The Christ is something that we could all incarnate.
This guy is hilarious, man. I mean, he brings all the different things into one thing.
Yeah, he says
Right?
that
You believe in
Christ.
all the
Christ called himself God, and
Right.
then he said, "Oh,
right.
but he really
He's like a
didn't mean
Muslim, but he's not
Just
really a Muslim. He's a
talking.
Christian, but he's not really a
So
Christian.
basically, Christ was a liar."
Yeah, he brings
Christ
all
wasn't a liar.
He brings all the mythologies into
And why
one.
did he say he was God if he wasn't God? This is the same argument we get all the time.
Yeah.
Jesus was not the Son of God. He's not God. He's just a prophet.
We're all sons of God.
Yeah, blessings, homie.
We're all sons of God, but we're not
Right.
the only begotten Son of God.
There you go.
Yeah, we're sons of God. We're brothers of Jesus and all that. That's true. But we're not God. Jesus was God.
Okay, what about the Hindus? What about the Hindus? What about
There
the
you go.
Muslims?
That's
What about the Buddhists? What about the
Muslims.
Sikhs?
That's why he never refused worship, but angels always do refuse
What
worship.
about
but
what about
never refuse it.
what about the Hindus? What about the
Yeah,
Muslims?
isn't he? Yeah,
about
isn't
the
he a little bit?
What about the
Isn't
Sikhs?
he? Let me ask a question. Isn't
about
he
the
a little
Jews?
bit? May I ask a question? Isn't he a little bit wishy-washy on that point? He calls himself the Son of Man, the Son of God. He says you're all daughters and sons of God, right? So to fixate on that single point, I think is a little bit overblown.
People like to think they have the only truth. It's an ego trip.
No, it's not ego.
Yeah, it's a little bit gay. It really is. If you have to force
It
feed it
is
to
an
other
ego
people, then
trip.
it's
Just-
yeah, it is.
And they like to make
It's a
people-
hardcore.
And they
We don't have
they
to
believe-
idolatrize him.
Yeah, no, they
I
don't.
just
They don't
asked a
believe
couple
what
questions, and you guys
they
all
don't-
get triggered. You guys
they
get
don't have
triggered when
faith.
I
Triggered.
actually believe Jesus
Lol.
said he was God, and so you guys get all triggered.
Well, he
He's
said a lot
not
of
really
things, didn't he?
God.
That's not what we're
You're
saying,
trying
bro.
to
You're
force feed
misreading
your
it.
belief on me.
Well, you
Christ
are. He
Lord.
didn't.
You
Christ
are fucking
didn't.
gay.
But you are, yeah.
You're fucking gay, calling me gay. You're
Relax, Rocky.
projecting
No, no,
your own
I didn't. I'm
bullshit.
sorry. I didn't call you
Sit here
gay.
and
I
talk
said
shit
it's
about
gay.
me. I say
Notice
two
the
words,
difference.
You guys
and
think
all of a
the
sudden I'm
Zoroastrians-
fucking gay because I believe Jesus what he said.
We
Fuck
got
you.
ya.
All right.
So do you all think the
Just worse.
Zoroastrians should be pushed down
What is-
by the
Rastafarians,
Muslims?
what?
Zoroastrians?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Rastafarians.
Pastafarian?
Well, or you can go with Rastafarians. That's cool. Should they be tamped down by the Muslims?
Yeah, yeah. Let's focus on your beliefs. Mike. What
Okay.
do you believe in?
I'm an atheist, so
Okay, so why don't you explain your beliefs to Rocky? You guys could talk about your beliefs right up.
okay. I believe in freedom of religion, freedom of speech.
Wow, that's a lot to believe in. Jeez.
No, it's not much. Do you believe in freedom
So
of
you
religion?
believe that we
Do
all
you be-
came
do
from
you
a
believe
big
in
fucking
freedom of
bang?
speech?
We all just appeared. There's no God. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
That's
what I'm
fucking
saying.
retarded. You should be old
Okay.
enough by now to look around and see that somebody created this shit. It didn't just
Well,
pop out of fucking thin air. I think you're way too old to be a fucking atheist. Fucking wake up. Everyone here, I don't think anyone here is an atheist. at least they believe in God somehow. There's some kind of God somewhere. We're just determining to figure out who he is. But to believe there is no God is like fucking stupid as fuck.